my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So today we get part number 4 of the Christmas mystery with the Fat Quarter Shop. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and we get part 4 today. But before we do that, we need to celebrate Gorgeous Grandma Day. So I'm not a grandma. I don't have children, therefore I'm not a grandma. I'm an auntie. But I know a lot of you are grandmas, and it really started me thinking, it's like, what age were my grandmas when I got married? Because I have this picture with them. The grandma that is closest to me is Granny, and her real name, she has a name, is Ruth. So her name was Ruth, and she was the older of the two because she didn't have my dad and his brother until she was a little bit older. And Nana, or Mabel on the other side, was a bit younger when she had my mom. And my mom and my dad are both the first children of the two sibling family, the very small families that each only have one sibling, so just 2 children. So I'm like thinking they may have been I'm about my age, and of course they are gorgeous. So celebrate if you are a gorgeous grandma today. Tell everybody all about it. You can also leave me a comment here at YouTube or at my fireside chat if you are a grandma. Love to hear that. Tell me how many grandkids you have. Do not put it in the quilt group. Remember, the quilt group's not for that kind of conversation. That's for here at YouTube and over at the fireside chat. All right, so what does it look like? Part number 4. It is a strip with a little square and a square in the center. So here we're going to do 4 of them. So here's what that page looks like. We're going to have 4 of them, and you have options, you have thoughts, and you don't know the layout. But a lot of you have kind of guessed how this is going, and based on strips, I'm not saying, but you can kind of guess where strips might be going. You're smart quilters. So what am I going to do? My center is going to be, the center will be the background white, and then I'm going to repeat this floral in each of them, and that's the same floral I used in right here and in the middle of the star. So I'm going to repeat that one. Now, if you have these square and squares, you want to use the one that's 4-inch finished, which I do not have. I do not have that one. So guess what's in my cart now at the Fat Quarter Shop is that foundation. Somehow I never got that one. And it says so right on the pattern sheet here. See, it tells you right here. So if you don't have to memorize it, it's written right there which one you can use. So I will be doing mine the old-fashioned sew and flip way, but next time I will be prepared. So let's look at some color options for me. I am very torn because they have lights. They're doing the light backgrounds, and I really like that, but I could do other things. So let's see. Here are all of my sort of options. Here are the lights. So 4 of these would mimic what they show you, in the pattern. And if you're using the fabrics they're using, you would have the same fabrics, but mine are a little bit different, but I can mimic my set of fabrics. I can definitely mimic the scale, the lightness, the color, so it works out really well. So this is what they have. But if you wanted to do yours with pinks, you could go ahead, and there's 4 fabrics. So, these are fat quarters, so I think that this is probably enough to squeeze out. There's just 2 strips from each, so that's definitely enough if I wanted to do pinks on the outside, which would be kind of pretty. So you have to pair them up, so there'd be 2, and then 2, and then, I don't know, 2, and then 2, something like that. Okay, so we could have pinks, which would be, whoops, get that kitty out there. So that would be kind of cool, pinks. If you like pink Christmas, and that's not everybody's deal, you could do the reds, 2 reds, which is a little bit sort of darker. Now let's look at my blocks. So there is quite a bit of red already, and so that would be lots and lots of red. And personally, that's not the one I'm going to use because I've already have enough red going on in this, And I believe this one is going to be my binding. So I'm not doing red for sure, but you could also do green if you wanted. Now you could mix it up. You could, here's some greens. You could do greens like this. There's a one that's a red and green. You could do greens like this. I think there's enough of that might have left if I wanted to do greens. And there's not a ton of green. There's just, a little bit in the star, and then those kind of log cabins, half log cabin style pieces with the green. So that is something. Maybe you like green. I can hear somebody yell. I don't know why this is here. This could be an option over here if I wanted these to not have that one really light one, which they have in their collection, but I don't have to. I could switch it like this. So, and I kind of like that better rather than having one that's so much lighter than everything else. See, I kind of like where they all read the same density of lightness. So you see the difference? Put that in there. See the difference? It's huge to me. It's huge because this sticks out. Whereas if I did these, this didn't stick out. And then I'm thinking, if I did these, I've digressed, I know, but bear with me. If I did these, I could do the square and a square with something less busy, like that. But this doesn't read real green. This is an interesting print, isn't it? From a distance. Okay, so I will probably try to do these. And then maybe I'll put those little snowflake things. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, but you could also do green. I'm liking that. But if you wanted to mix up your reds and greens, that's always a possibility. You could play around with that. Now, if you're somebody, there's one too many, right? There we go. So if you're somebody that really needs to see things before you make a decision, next week you get the layout, so there you go. But and of course you have time before Christmas, so if you really feel like, oh, I'd rather wait and see it, no problem. I think I'm going to go with this. I'm going to just go with the formula that they have, and I am going to put the snowflake in the middle rather than the white. Okay, so I need to cut these so that we can see what they look like and pin them, because the critters are on the wall, so there's no using my wall till that critter quilt is done, which might be for a month. So you're going to see a quilt like this come out and things pinned to it often. All right, let me sew it up. All 4 of the strips done. I just pinned them to the design board here, pinned them to the top of the design board. And they've got a short side, a little bit shorter side, and a little bit longer side. Just follow the directions exactly. It'll work out. There is my center. I use that one. Okay, so these will, next week, we'll have the layout. So we'll know how this plays with everything that is already done, where all the positions of everything are. So I will do some sort of picture. It's not going to be the greatest picture this week because I don't have the design wall, but I'll do something. Oh, look at that. Looks like beaded curtains or something, huh? Cool. Those would be fun just to do that for a little baby quilt or something. These strips, just make a bunch of more of them. Okay, so let me stick this over to the side. We have a little quilt parade of some of your items. Let's take a look. Our ambassador Carrie's Star of Wonder blocks. So beautiful with the pinks. Love, love, love the pinks. Here is Debbie #1. She has some fantastic fabrics. They've got some big prints on them, and they're just looking so great. The greens are awesome in there. And Debbie #2 with her red, white, and black. So she's got fussy cutting those in those centers of those stars. Star flakes. Love, love, love. Julianne, so pretty. Now, a few of you were kind of doing layouts, which is kind of fun to see. So she doesn't have the other sides on those top and bottom stars yet, but you can see where they're going. And that is with the Kitty Christmas fabric. Laura's so beautiful. She has a great pink ornaments. There's like little Santas and beautiful ornaments on there. Beautiful. Sandy's, another one with some really fun prints. There's snow globes and that great plaid. And look at the little foxes on the right, the blocks on the right. Ah, so cute. Wendy's, she's got up on her design board. They are turning out gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, the next two have done layouts where all the parts are made. So this is Brenda's, and she's laid them out in a fashion. We don't know what the layout is yet. Donna's done the same. Got a little layout going. See how they look. Oh, you never know. Okay, so now I have a group of some other projects because I just thought that would be fun. Kathy did the Millie's dresses. It's all finished. Isn't that fantastic? And she used my porch swing fabric in the teals, purples, and black and white. And she added then from her stash for all the dress accents and that red. That looks so good. We've got a couple of Oh My Stars. Cinda's is just fantastic. Look at the dolphin fabric. So she used that for the outer border. And then she used the dolphins also in the squares, and she didn't take the stars out, float them out. So she, modified it just a little bit. The purple looks fantastic in there. It looks like a lot of batiks. Dawn's is gorgeous. All of these small scale floral prints, they are so beautiful together. Look at that. And the green is a perfect accent, and the white stars just sparkle. They totally sparkle. Let's see, Catherine has got her Christmas all year going. I just had to show you. She's got all the little stars done. And her gingerbread boy and girl are so stinking cute with the pink and the blue stripes. Love that. And our last one is from Tanya. And she has What's in Your Closet finished. Those fabrics are amazing. I believe they're Tilda fabrics. They look like Tilda fabrics. And they're just gorgeous. Super, super cute. Thank you, everybody, for making gorgeous, gorgeous things for us to look at. What fun! Love the quilt parades. Okay, so if I just move this over just a little bit, you can see the critters. There we go. This is the quilt on the back is the Christmas one from Wendy's book that we did. Okay, so here are the critters. Where do I sit? There we go. You can see the critters. I've not moved anything on there. I'm doing all computer work now. I have a bunch of computer work. And so we're going to take a look at that because I went ahead and drew every single one of those up there, except for the fused ones. Those are random that I'll fit somewhere, except for the fused ones that are going either side of that Scotty dog. Those I am drawing in. The other two, the penguin and the flamingo, I'll figure out where later. So let's go to the computer and see what my steps are to handle this. So as a software engineer for 20 years, we never start with a blank screen, which would kind of look, let's get rid of that. This would be a blank screen where I have nothing to go on, and we start with something. So I grabbed Critter Quilt number 1, and basically I would change this to 3, whoops, not 4, 3. I don't know the size yet because I haven't designed it. And then basically I would just get rid of some stuff, keep a few of these, keep a few of these, whoops, not that guy. And then, basically get rid of a lot of stuff so that I just have a few squares to work with, a few of the spacers to work with, that kind of a thing. So I would just sort of give myself some working items like this. Then we'll just go to the next page because I did some of the work already. So here we go. Here's Critter Quilt number 3. And what I did was take all of the items, you saw them on that piece of paper, I wrote down their finished sizes because this is all finished size. It's like a puzzle. There's no seam allowance on a puzzle piece, right? So this is exactly like puzzle pieces. They have to fit together. They have to be the finished size. And so each of these, like the tiger, the finished size is 15.5 by 16.5. These little birds are finished size 4.5 by 4.5, which means when I measured them, they were 5 by 5. So I've got some of them, and I'm putting them like you see them on the wall. So here's like row number 1, and right now here's row number 2, and you can see all this down here where my cursor is, all that blank space. That is, let me just sort of that's a long piece. That's 20 over 22 inches, and it's, what did I just do there? About 5-6 inches deep. So I'm not sure. I don't really have a block that is that size. That's, remember, these are the other quilts names. Uh, so I haven't done anything on that third row. So what I'm doing is I'm loosely putting the rows like this, because I knew that dog, that hot dog thing, he was too deep, he's too tall. The hot dog is 11 3/4 inches tall, which would be about like that. So he's too tall to make this row. Otherwise, then I'd have what? I would have to fill in these things like this. I mean, there's a lot of filling in then that would have to be more than if I just moved him down to this other section. The other thing is, these can all, like, I put some spacers in here. Let's go in a little bit closer. So I can shove all this up super tight if I wanted to. What's the tightest? If I took this out and took this out, I can move these up here like that. And then this guy could move up like this. Get him even. There is a grid behind here. I do not like to look at the grid, so that's why you don't see it. So you could put this up here. This guy could go up here. And then you have a problem, because, you know, I'm shoving this all together to show you. So now, see how that one's longer? So if you come over here on the far left, my height is 22.5 if I do no spacers. But you can see now this long piece in here that would need something. So, you know, laying them all around will, you know, I need to see what the total length is before I decide how far up I shove all of these, and whether I put a spacer between the three of these, you know, like this, where I had it, and I had some spacers. They don't need, these are 2-inch finished. They could be 1.5-inch finished, something like that. But probably I'm going to do something to separate so that these are a little bit looser. Then I will do the same thing down here to this one. And then now, before I start those though, before I start that process, I'm going to enter this bottom section because it's a little bit funky. I've got a lot going on. There's how many blocks? Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's like 16 blocks that'll have to go down in this section. So I will be doing that next. But this is the process. So at this point, I'm basically building the puzzle, and then I have to fit all the little spacer units, and maybe like down, when I'm down in this section here, I will maybe have to do some other blocks. I will look down at what these are down here to see if there's some small ones that could go up here that make sense. So that's where we are. It's a process. And I was just going to stop there, but mentally I needed to go ahead and chart out the rest of these at the bottom. So we'll look at that. I put in all the rest of the critters down here, and you can see that even if I pushed up these as they're placed right now, there's just this huge gap down here, which is just too much to deal with. That's like, 9 inches, and it's just too much. Plus all of this will get shoved up. Here we go, like really close, something like that. And then up here, because my goal, this is the frame for the critter quilt number 1. So my goal is to have the quilt fit in here. So that means it's now a little, some sort of little game I've got to play of maneuvering things around, because I still need to sew in vertical rows. I can't just, I don't want to do inset seams and things like that. So, here will be like a vertical row. So more than likely, I'm going to take those spacers out or make them a lot smaller. And then here was the other, third row. So, yeah, second row in here, first, second, third. So this is a little bit of work now to rearrange things and try to fit them into as close as possible to this framework, because that's about the size. That is 65 by 73. I could go a little bit longer, a tiny bit wider, but I don't want to go much more than that. And I really would like to be able to sew it in chunks that are so easily sewable for me. You know, I don't want to have to do some inset seams and things. So, okay, so I'll have some work to do. I'll show you another one of these in a day or so. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to have to sew some things. I have some other projects I have to also sew. So I'm going, these are going to stay up there, but I will be doing a little bit more computer work, and I'll be sharing a couple more of those in future videos here real soon, of how I get things arranged and moved and locked in for the ability to sew all this together. So I can't sew anything until I get my digital diagram all done, put the spacer sizes in there so that I know what the heck I'm doing, and then I can start to cut and sew what's on the wall. Okay, let's talk about the state fabrics that are coming in. I probably should have not even mentioned the states until I was done with the critters, because it's kind of a lot all at the same time. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, right now a bunch of the state stuff is coming in at once, and it's just too much to show at once. It's kind of overload, sensory overload for me to sit here and go through. I mean, I'm getting them in different days, but if I do them all at once, it's just too much. So I'm probably going to do like a couple of them every day for the state fabrics. But what I will try to do is take a picture and put it on the state fabric page, so that if you sent me something and I haven't mentioned it yet, you could see if I put it on the state fabric page. But give me a week or so after it comes in before you might see it here. All right, so hold on a second. Sue in Oklahoma sent me a sweet card and some yellow squares. So these are not state fabric things, but yellow squares. She said this one she did a little sundress for her 3-year-old granddaughter, and she said her, at 3 years old, her granddaughter's still letting her pick the fabric for her dresses, which is a lot of fun. Enjoy that. Enjoy those times, right? They don't last long till they have opinions. So these will go right in my bin over here, so I can start using them for my sewing of this is what the lemon chiffon looks like. So that's one of the ones I'm working on right now. So I'm getting quite a good number and variety of those. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. Mwah. Okay, got 3. Let's look at 3 of the state fabric ones. The first is from Denise in Florida, and she said she's got one that is a little bit older Florida print, and that is the Everglades, right? Yeah, the one's older is the Everglades fabric, and I've been to the Everglades. It's so fun. We did one of those boat rides. Where is it? They showed on here. Yeah, one of those boat rides. We did one of those. So that was super fun. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's a manatee, little manatee. This is going to be a really fun project because some of these prints have pretty large scale items on them. It'll be super interesting. Here's her other Florida print. Wow, this is cool. It's got Orlando, Boca Raton. It's got a space shuttle on there. It's got a boat. Yeah, so fun. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, thank you. Okay, the next one here is from Charlene in Arizona. And she sent, here's the card, came with them. And I'm just trying to get the sort of she's got a quote on here. It says, "Just sparkle in the sun." This by Bob Ross. So she's been in Arizona for quite a few years now, but she used to live in, she knows I'm in Virginia, and she knows I know about Maryland. So anyway, here we go. We've got the Arizona. It's got a piece of Arizona fabric. You guys have been, this is generous. This is a lot of fabric. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Look at that. Kind of like the license plates. And she has one that has kind of the state outline. Look at this. With, I guess, all different cities. So I've been to Arizona a few times in my life. I've been to all the states but Oklahoma, North Dakota, Hawaii, and Alaska. Those are the only states I haven't been to. And she sent me one that's got the crabs on it from Maryland. It doesn't actually say the word Maryland, but if you are from the East Coast, you know this is Maryland. Crabs and Old Bay. Thank you. Mwah. This is just so awesome, Charlene. All right, and the last one we'll look at for today of the states is from Deanne in Wisconsin. And she sent, here we go. Here she is with her family, little kitties. Being in Wisconsin, this is one of those states I think that has, well, first of all, they have like more quilters probably in Wisconsin than any other state. I've been to Wisconsin several times, and they have lots of shop hops, and they do lots of fabric for the shop hops. So she said some of these, or many of these, are from the shop hop fabrics. So, okay, so we've got some scenery. That's pretty. Look at the scenery. And little items and things that you do in Wisconsin, like sledding, yeah, and maple syrup and hockey. Here's another one with, it's got Brewers, Packers. It's got names on it. There's some other, these were probably companion fabrics that went along with it. Some red and white. So we'll see how they work in, because I don't really have no idea where this is going to go. Here we are, Wisconsin. The shape, am I upside down? Is this directional? I have no idea. And in red, one in red, and then the words for Wisconsin. Yeah, right, perfect. Oh, and she also has this little panel with the same sort of scenery as that first one, with the seasons. I guess Wisconsin scenery. Ah, this is so cool. Thank you, Deanne. Thank you. Okay, everybody, you are doing the last blocks for our for our Star of Wonder. There are mine. And I hope you enjoy all that's going on with the critter quilts and getting that all organized. So I love you. Mwah. Thanks for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.